Good morning, Dr. Natika.
Good morning, ma'am.
Ma'am, yesterday you had said that anybody volunteering to, say,
Yes,
give a
yes, the
2-minute roundup,
reflections. Yes,
I would definitely want to. It will be not more than 2 to 3 minutes. A very
yes, ma'am.
brief one.
Yes, ma'am.
Very
It
brief
it
one.
can be just up to 2 minutes also
Yeah.
because
Only two
like
minutes, not
yes,
more.
yes, ma'am. Just
Not
and
more
thank you
than
so
that.
much, ma'am, for volunteering for the same, ma'am.
Not at all, not at all. So please tell me later when I
Yes, ma'am.
can do it and
Ma'am,
I'll.
it will start at 3 p.m.
Huh.
So once we will have a chief guest address and other things, and we will
Hmm.
invite the participants to give their reflections. So then, ma'am, you can raise your hand and we will tell you
Thank you.
to, yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
you can, ma'am, whatever you felt in the 6 days program
Yeah.
based on the coordination of our institute as well as timely submission addressing all your queries about resource persons, about the topic covered in this 6 days program. You please give your suggestion. This will help us to, improve upon for our upcoming programs, ma'am.
Sure, sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so very much.
My pleasure, ma'am.
See you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, I've joined back. I hope it's not too early.
Natika,
no,
ma'am.
sir. Yeah, no, sir. You have joined properly on time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, so
Yes,
I'll wait for a probably session to get over. There might be something which is going on.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. 10:30 is the time, so we will start roughly at around 10:35, sir.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll keep myself mute and video
Yes, sir.
closed.
Yes, sir. Yes. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it
Yes.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Doctor.
Morning, ma'am. I hope everyone has taken the demo test because we could see only roughly 50% of the participants have taken and not all. We kept the link live till 10 a.m. today so that you get the feel of the software. But nevertheless, the other Auto Proctor blog, the link given by the software itself, you all can try at your end. And the actual test link, which is your evaluated quiz, will get activated tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and the link will remain active till 14th of May, that is till 12 p.m. in the night. So you all can try at your own convenient timing. Further, the link will again get activated on 20th at 8 a.m. in the morning and remain live till 21st, 12 o'clock in the night. So what we will be doing is we have planned to send the names of the participants on the group where you are receiving all the mails. We will be sending it to all the participants with the list whosoever we have received the test till Sunday night. So that is on probably Monday morning, you will receive a mail which will only indicate who have given the test and also we have received the test. This will help to enable the other participants that they have not appeared, or if there is any technical glitch from their end for which the test couldn't reach to us. Sometimes it happens we start the test and we have logged in maybe 10-15 minutes before you start the test. 40 minutes roughly duration, 45 rather we have given the time now, so roughly 1 hour. So it may happen in that 1 hour your internet might fluctuate and when you submit it may not reach to us. It may happen, we are all connected to the such kind of and experience such kind of technical glitches. So you need not worry. When I share the list, whoever we have received, and in case if someone feels that he or she has appeared and it's not received to us, they can get connected to us after receiving the mail. Hope this is this will help the participants to keep a track of their submission. Until date, whatever recordings and session notes we have received, everything we have shared with you all. The folder is also uploaded, whichever way you are convenient, either from a folder or via mail about the PPTs and the recordings, you all can go through it. Okay, so let's begin our today's session. Welcome everyone to day 6 of this 1-week FDP program organized by St. Francis Institute of Management and Research in collaboration with MHRD Government of India under PMMM NMTT scheme, Ministry of Education, Government of India and GAD TLC, Center of MHRD, SGTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi on outcome-based education, paradigm shift in higher education. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome today's resource person who is none other than Dr. Munish Thakur. Sir is a professor of strategy at the XLRI, that is Xavier School of Management, Jamshedpur. He has nearly 2 decades of experience. In addition to strategy, Professor Thakur teaches qualitative and quantitative research methods as well as the philosophy of research. His research output and teaching cases have been published in leading outlets across the globe. Throughout his teaching career, he has experimented with a variety of pedagogical learning techniques such as simulation, case studies, and reflections. He has also taught at other institutions, including IIM Calcutta, and has extensive administrative experience as the Head of Research and Admissions at XLRI. Sir has done his doctoral program from IIM Kolkata. Sir has also won second best paper globally in 2017 by Academy of Management. His case study on microfinance industry has been converted to 30 languages, and it is one of the top 10 cases of Harvard Business School. We are fortunate to have you, sir, amongst us as a resource person to deliver on today's topic, student engagement and learning practices. And we thank you on behalf of St. Francis Institute of Management and Research to accept our invitation to deliver your talk today on student engagement and learning practices. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Natika, for that kind introduction, and welcoming all to this session. I'll first let me just see whether you can see my screen. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Natika, and welcome once again to all of you. I'm sorry, I'm traveling, out of Jamshedpur, and hence I'm taking this session from almost a remote location. Yeah. So I hope we won't have any problems with respect to connectivity. If there is one, please let me know. Yeah. So we're going to talk about outcome-focused learning. That is what I was asked to sort of learning in today's context, what we call as a post-merit world. Across the world, you'll find that people are reconsidering what is merit, right, and whether merit is something which is deeply associated with class phenomenon, in the sense people who come from certain sections of the society, they only do well as far as merit or let's say scoring good marks, or let's say academic achievements are concerned. So all of you must be must have a lot of experience in teaching. So a lot of the stuff which I'm going to talk about may not be so sort of new to you, but please do share your opinion as and when you feel like. I'd also like this session to make it to be a little more interactive, in a sense. I don't want it to be simply I speak and you listen and that's it. So a little bit of engagement would be good. So please ask queries or probably get into discussion whenever you feel like. So traditionally, if you look at if you sort of look at most of the educational system was trying to get to this sweet spot, right? If you look at a student, right? So would say, does a student know, has a knowledge, or can student express that knowledge, right? So this is we can look at as expression part, and this we can look at as a knowledge part, right? So you have students who know as well as who can sort of express, and that is the sweet spot, and that's what where we were most of the time since almost when the education started, right? But this is also a very interesting space which we can call as, oh, there is student has no knowledge, but students can express themselves. So you'll find these kind of students who are quite smart students. They are sometimes teachers' favorite, and they like to express things very well, but sometimes they don't know. So they, in a way, they game the system, right? So there's a problem here. This is a very interesting sort of quadrant we have. And then you have some students, especially student really can't express themselves, but they have the knowledge. And this is very, very interesting space. We have a lot of students are pretty good, but when it comes to expression, especially students who are coming from is there a problem somewhere? Am I audible to everyone? Hello, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Oh, there was a problem in between.
Yes, sir, you can
So we have
continue.
these students, probably students especially who come from weaker sections, students who don't have maybe English as their second language, or maybe even third language, right? So they come from very remote locations, right? So these students find it difficult to express, though they might have knowledge, right? So our educational system, let's say colleges and universities, are not very good at sort of tapping the knowledge of these students and helping these students to sort of express themselves, or even sometime expression is not so important, because the tacit knowledge sometimes can be better than sort of explicit knowledge. And then our current system also slots students into, oh, this doesn't have a knowledge and also can't express. So I would say these kind of students are the potential learner, rather than putting them into students who are good for nothing at all, right? So there's a chance. So as we move forward, we need to figure out how to get these students to learn better. This quadrant, if I call that as a second quadrant, this as a third quadrant, and this as a sort of a fourth quadrant. So that's the challenge I think education system has got going forward. Further on, building upon the previous slide, you can see there are different types of knowledges that you can have, right? You can have very cognitive knowledge, which is more of the stuff that we normally say, okay, am I able to understand something using my mind, or using my brain, so to speak. And then, but there's also very interesting knowledge, which I probably was talking about in the previous quadrant. If you go here, right, this quadrant, you can sort of this one. So this could be embodied knowledge, in a sense that knowledge is not merely cognitive, but knowledge is also embodied. If you look at sports person, or you look at some of the people who are very experts, right? Probably they have tried out things for such a long period of time that knowledge has gone into their body. For example, I was traveling a couple of days back from Delhi to Jammu, and on the way, I came across a driver. He said, this road is in my body. I can even with my eyes shut, I can sort of drive on this road. And since the road has gotten into him, and he knows each and every aspect of the road. And then something which is connected with embodied knowledge is the tacit knowledge. In the sense, the knowledge is understood maybe cognitively. So this is not only just embodied, but this could be a knowledge which is precognitive. In the sense, oh, you have a feeling, you have a sense, right? Um, but you are sort of not able to express it, and that knowledge is very, very, very important. Especially some of the great leaders, some of the great scientists, have been able to operate from very tacit knowledge, and they're also able to pick something which is not yet happened. It's still yet to happen. This kind of, they're able to pick up the weak signals and sort of build upon that knowledge. And then you have intuitive knowledge, and our system doesn't focus on intuitive knowledge. This could also be because the entire Western notion of education is very, very non-intuitive. We say, okay, anything which cannot be captured using observation and instrument and traditional, so to speak, doesn't fall into uh, you know uh, very scientific notion of knowledge. That's not supposed to be knowledge, but I think that's, in my opinion, that's also again very important aspect of knowledge. And then you sometimes have knowledge of the gut, in a sense, something inside you feels that there is something is right or something is wrong. So in my opinion, as we move forward and it's moved to post-merit world, we need to figure out as to how do you bring all these knowledges together, right? Of course, this classification is not a hardcore classification. You can probably maybe make it 5 or 6 or 7, or maybe somebody can reduce it to 4. But broadly, the point is there are different kind of knowledges, and all these types of knowledges are very important. Very important in the sense of when student has to be successful in their in their corporate life, or when they start to work for any organization, right? All these knowledges play a very important role, and sometimes non-cognitive knowledges play more important role. So we need to be careful about not ignoring any of these knowledges, right? Especially non-cognitive knowledges. And our education system, as of now, it ignores the non-cognitive knowledge. Then, if you look at it from students' perspective, when we typically teach students, we think that students only learn through one method, but by now the students don't learn through only single method. The different students have different ways of learning. Somebody learns visually, somebody learns through auditory, very good at listening, and then sort of visual is not so. Somebody can learn to read and write. So somebody can learn through kinesthetics, right? Sometime. So what, and of course, it requires reflection as well. So what is important is we need to engage in learning, which is more of multi-sensory learning rather than only one senses. So that's very important. Sometimes as teacher, we tend to think that, oh, this is the way I teach, and student must adjust to my style, and which is in a way partly right, that students' job is to learn, and hence students should be able to adjust to the style. But you must admit that different students have different types of learning style, and we should be able to sort of make ourselves a little flexible to sort of include their teaching learning style into our teaching methodology. And then in today's world, especially, we got different types of learning sources. Traditionally, learning was very, very classroom centric, or teacher knew everything, so you come to the classroom and learn there. Uh, and of course, there was also a lot of importance on peer learning. Especially, I teach at the business school, and in the business school, a lot of students tell us that, prof, is not what you teach in the class which is important, but it's also what you learn from other students. In fact, if you look at dominant sources of learning, or two very predominant way of learning, these would be social learning and learning by doing. So social learning happens through, it's also peer learning, right? So when we speak to other, they give us feedback, we become open to that feedback, and we sort of change our opinion, change our views. In the process, we learn. So peer learning is a very important part of a learning system. And then, of course, learning from life, or learning by doing, that's also very, very critical component. And in today's world, it's not that the student is only learning from the classroom. Student is also learning from peers, student learning from, and then very interestingly, student has whole lot of online material available for them to learn from. And so maybe if this was a dominant, maybe 20-30 years, this was maybe 70% of learning, and this was maybe 20-30% of learning 20 years back. And we say, okay, this is not so important. In fact, in the academic places, we will ignore this. Say, oh, this comes from life, so it's not part of our headache. So maybe we need to sort of, this was almost given 0% weightage in India, and this was also very little weightage to this. So with a lot of online material being available, I think it's very important in the classrooms we give a lot of weightages to this as well as this. So which means classroom is no more right now. If you ask me, classroom is no more a dominant source from where students learn, right? That makes this problem very interesting, right? The classroom is not the important source of way students learn, what do teachers do, right? Because we are in a way hardwired to look at world in terms of only classroom and lecture and so on and so forth. I would say that maybe this would get reduced to around 20-30% as of now. So it's kind of from as high of 70-80%, it is maybe as low as 20-30%. So, or maybe even if a classroom is 80-70% or something, we need to figure out how learning from life, how this learning and this can get into a classroom rather than typical traditional method of teaching and learning, which is only teacher and student, right? So this hierarchy of student teacher is probably no more valid in today's context. So typically, I see a problem with the teachers. Let's suppose when I go to teach, I would like class to be in control, right? I would like things to be done my way. So a lot of teachers are very controlled, focused. So that is one problem with teacher. And students, teachers sometimes right, sometimes wrong. They think that students inherently try and free write, right? And sometimes we also try and over teach. We think, oh, our subject is the most important. My class is the most important class. Other classes are not important, right? Or if I teach more, probably students will learn more. Well, that may be true sometime, but that may not be true all the time, right? Over teaching can actually kill learning, right? And many times we tend to over teach, this control and over teaching, because this is important because somewhere we also have all this inferiority complex, that am I good enough or not? Am I good enough with respect to the subject I know, or am I good enough with respect to other teachers? And then I say, oh, I compensate for this by either teaching too much or trying to control students, right? That's a problem with the teacher, and therefore sometimes learning suffers. And sometimes, especially with the student focused learning, I also tend to think that, oh my God, there's this class for one hour, or class for an hour and a half, and if I don't take the center stage, if I don't tell students that I know, or you know uh, probably students will feel, or I haven't done my job. You'll feel probably, no, I'm being paid for to be a good teacher, but if I don't take the center stage, I'm not done the work. But what if the students do a lot of the learning themselves in the class, and teacher's job is to facilitate. So maybe you are center stage only for, let's say, 10 minutes out of 1 hour. So from a teacher perspective, it looks like that I'm not doing my job. But from student perspective, this 10 minutes of could be more effective. And maybe, let's say, from 1 hour, 50 minutes, I'm at the center stage. That may not be so productive from a student perspective. But the teacher feels that this 50 minutes is very productive, right? So there's all these notions which are there in our mind, right? So that sort of hinders learning from the teacher's perspective. And of course, there's a problem with the students as well, right? So sometimes students don't like to work hard. There are quite a few students, if you look at the classical education and the psychology literature, they will say that, okay, we want to relax, we want to enjoy, right? We want to have pleasure. It's a pleasure principle. Those who come from psychology background, right? So there's a lack of hard work. Students want to have fun. They probably want to have they want to party, they want to do a lot of other stuff, a lot of events on campus. And of course, there's especially in places like our place, a business school, students become, maybe even in engineering or in law or medicine, you can see students are more focused on placement. So anything which doesn't lead to the placement, is not supposed to be something which is good by the students. And I think one of the most important problem in India, especially in India, is very, very examination focused learning. By examination focused, I don't mean to say that examination which are held by schools and university. Rather, I should have written here maybe entrance examination focused learning. If you look at a typical student in India, you'll find that the student first wants to probably write engineering, right? So when he's studying for the 12th standard, right, this guy is apologies for this, yeah. This guy is studying for engineering, so 12th is not important. Engineering test becomes important when he gets into engineering college. Then that is not important. Maybe writing GRE or GMAT or CAD or something that becomes important. And after get into MBA, or let's say you get into something else, and then the MBA studies is not important, but job or placement is more important, right? So, 12th has been hijacked by entrance for engineering or medicine. Engineering has been hijacked by entrance examination for GRE or GATE or GMAT or CAT or XAT, right? And similarly, the MBA, or let's say, or this also hijacked by the placement. So there's where's the learning? I would say there's very little learning, and learning happened because of only the students are taking various entrance examination or exit examinations, right? And students also have a lot of other fears. They're sort of not sure about. They're always scared of being compared with others. Sometimes our example, especially as we tend to grow old, our example is from our generation. The new generation doesn't relate to those examples. And there's too much of problem with the students. There's a lot of information coming from all the sources, so that leads to distraction. And there's a lot of peer pressure on what to do and what not to do. Maybe sometimes the peer pressure is not towards learning, but towards engaging in other activities. So with this kind of issues, right? How do we sort of solve these problems that we are facing in today's context, right? And outcome-based learning or outcome-based education curriculum is very, very interesting way of sort of handling these issues. So which means the class or the teacher focuses on the outcome, and there's a less emphasis on, it's not all the time teachers' job to sort of make those outcome happens. The learning or the process can come from peer, process can come from other online sources, process can come from somewhere else, from life, what people do. And the teacher primarily, sort of make sure that outcomes are sort of achieved very well. So by integrating all these things together, so outcome-based learning becomes flexible, and they're mostly focused on measurable outcomes. So you'll say that, okay, this is what I want to achieve by end of lecture for the student, or this is what I want to achieve by end of course for the student, or by midterm for the students, right? Whatever is the format. So this, and you're very, very clear as to what are you trying to measure, right? So you're trying to measure things which are very clear. Maybe you can think of whatever your school or your university or your college says that, okay, we want to focus on decision making as a very important component in my course, right? Or let's say I want student to achieve certain kind of excellence in the subject which is being covered. And then you sort of measure these outcomes, you convert them into quantitative numbers and sort of achieve them. And of course, because the student is at the center of learning, because of that, uh, you know, uh, because of that, the learning is from the student, but the teacher basically combines learning from different places and sort of achieves it. And there's a lot of clarity and focus from the students. The students know what to expect. So their expectations are sort of taken care of here very well, right? So just if would you mind if I can take half a minute off this just. Sorry, apologies. So I was trying to talk about outcome-based learning. Outcome-based learning is one mode of overcoming some of the problems that we highlighted with our education system. And it provides clarity and focus. It puts student at the center. It say that, okay, student can learn from various sources, various methods, and say, and then it becomes very outcome focused. You say that, okay, it's not my job to sort of make sure that how student learns. My job is to make sure that I'm going to integrate and assemble that learning and measure them through outcomes, and it gives you flexibility. Now, it's okay, well and good to talk about all these things from the perspective of outcome-based learning, but how do you sort of operationalize outcome-based learning into your curriculum? And how do you sort of convert them into measurable stuff which can then be applied in a more meaningful manner? So one of the things which sort of I use and our institute also uses is emphasis on the Bloom's taxonomy. So now Bloom's taxonomy ensures that when you are teaching a particular thing, let's say you're teaching a particular concept, or you want to take on a certain chapter, right? So there is certain things which must be done in that concept, right? And say a concept, you have to remember the concept. That's what you can measure clearly. Then you need to see whether the concept has been understood very well. Then you need to figure out whether student can apply the concept very well. You need to then go and figure out, is student capable of analyzing the concept? Can student evaluate the concept? And can student also create something out of the concept? So just to give you an idea, right, remembering is basically retrieval and retrieval and recognition, and sort of recall stuff. You'll say, okay, what is the formula for net present value? You'll say, oh, what is the area of a circle, or what is the area of or volume of a sphere, right? So do you remember the formula or not? That's kind of remembering aspect of a concept. And then sort of understand the concept means, is student able to understand things in his or her own way, right? Maybe is able to tell you things in his own language, right? So that gives you an idea that whether student has really understood it. This is more of a rote. This is more of student a little better understanding, and since has it gone into student head properly. Now, application, as you know, is about using concept in a context, in a sense, or are you able to sort of apply things? Analyze means, if you look at success of Western education is basically it has been able to reduce things into smaller and smaller parts, or you see the relationship in how one part is related to others, because concept will not be simply one concept. Will be a concept will be many things combined together. They come together to sort of make a concept. Then you sort of evaluate it. Evaluate means you make a judgment about it. You critique it, whether it's good, bad, what's the scope beyond which it is not applicable. And the real test of learning is that student is able to create something new which was not there. So when you go from remembering to understanding, to applying, to analyzing, to evaluating, and to creating, that's when you complete your journey, right? Uh, uh, Many times our education system is sort of is ends here, right? We are not, or maybe it ends here, right? I'll say that, okay, we are not so much interested in analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Or even if you're interested, I'm not saying that, teachers are not aware about these parts, but these are not made as explicit part of the evaluation or the classroom or teaching, or these are not measured, so to speak. Right. So I just want to give you a simple example here. Maybe uh, I was told that you have people from across disciplines, so I'll try and keep the example very simple. Let's suppose you're teaching students simple math and say that, okay, you ask a student what is the area of the circle, and student will say, okay, the area of the circle is pi r square, right? Now, next is you ask student what is meant by circle in your own language, right? Student will say something which will make sense to you, right? So it's just not pi r square, but students will tell you something which is more meaningful here. So you can say applying this. So this is still at the conceptual level. This is still at the cognitive level, right? But when you take it to, let's say, you have a circle and you order a pizza, and can you see
Okay.
circle in a pizza or something? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So
Please
yeah,
continue.
yeah. So applying means you take it to the context, right? The context becomes very important, right? and and then you're looking analyzing, so you're seeing, okay, circle is there, but circle includes a radius, and circle also includes a concept called pi, which is a constant, and there is a certain relationship between pi and the radius. And when these relationships come together, you can you can sort of come to the area of the circle. So you are able to student is able to see radius and the pi and the relationship between radius and pi, and then how do these relationship make a whole circle. So that's about analyzing aspect of a concept, right? And then you know you know we go to the next level, which is more of evaluation, right? In evaluation, you can say that, okay, a circle, it looks very interesting, but why are things not all I don't see perfect circle in life. So wherever I go, maybe there's some shapes which are circular, but I mean, when I look at nature, there is no perfect circles. Very very few perfect circles I see in real world. So you start to understand what's the limit of it, or what's the objective of it, right? Probably say that, okay, circle can be used in a let's say in a particular manner, but there's a limit to it. This everything is not circular, right? And so that's about the evaluation part of it. And then you go to the uh, the create part, right? The create part would be, okay, I've seen, let's suppose you create uh, a circular building, or let's say you create circle yourself, you make pizza yourself and figure out whether it's, if you're talking about kids, or let's say if you're going to advanced levels, let's say college or something, a circle can also be used for something like circular economy. Or if you are into architecture or something, or how about designing a building which is circular, and will that building be more stable, and this is how I can think of designing it. So the point I'm trying to make is, are can we go from evaluation and outcome focus, which are only here, to sort of include all these things in the classroom and make them as explicit part of your teaching. So that's very 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 important. And of course, these need not be only as simple as a circle, right? A real application of it could be a little more complex, but I just thought of, because it was, maybe I was introducing the concept, so I thought of making it very simple and sort of taking it across to you. Now, I was talking about learning styles and learning sources and type of learning and type of knowledge and so on and so forth, right? So if you look at, remember part of the Bloom's taxonomy, it basically comes from lectures or the books. This is traditional method of teaching. And, understanding part of it comes from when student is given the center stage, right? And student discusses, or maybe he or he speaks, that helps in understanding, right? If we keep on speaking and student only listens, then it doesn't become understanding, right? It doesn't get converted into understanding. So student has to be given center stage here, right? Even here, the student has to be given center stage. You apply it, that's why the projects and internships are very, very important parts. And these, application need not be taken into an internship or projects, but they can also be part of the classroom. Maybe you have 1 hour or 1.5 hours, and you can say that, okay, maybe the 10 minutes of my class or 15 minutes of my class is going to be on doing, right? It need not be class. Sometimes it could be, okay, my first 5 lectures are understanding and remembering. Next 5 lectures is going to be on application. It could be like that. Or it could be maybe the first part of the first semester or something is going to be more on remembering and understanding. Next semester, I'm going to focus on application and so on and so forth. So analyze part is it is basically trying to understand how different constituents come together, right? And just like different parts of the body come together to form body. So understanding that relationship. This again will come from doing, right? This again comes. But this is not just a mechanical doing, right? So this, sometimes the problem with the application is it can become very mechanical, right? But this is more organic. You not only you see that you just go and apply it, but you also see if you change it, if you change one of the constituents, then what's going to be the impact of that on the application, right? So analyzing is much more deeper than simply application. And evaluate is when you got to sort of see that, okay, you need to reflect on what happened when you sort of try and apply something, or when you're trying to analyze something. The student need to understand, okay, this is what happened, this is the limit, right? This is something was right, this is something wrong. So like the advantages and disadvantages, right? The scope and something. You need to give sort of reflective time for the students to engage in evaluation. Without reflection and a little bit of awareness, evaluation doesn't take place, right? So even for analysis, I would say some amount of reflection is very important. But analysis is very logical, in a sense, is very a little more I would say, yeah, logical and reductive in nature. Evaluation is not only just reductive, but there is also something more than reduction which takes place here. You try and see the limits of something, and create is something very different from, let's say, application or analysis or evaluation. This is the deepest level of learning, which is, are you able to create new solutions, right? And it requires imagination. It requires synthesis of different knowledge of the body, knowledge of gut, knowledge of intuition, right? All these things. And this is very futuristic in nature, right? So if you sort of look at this, these are all remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate. They're very what either past oriented or what I tried, right? This stuff has already happened in a way, but creation is about future. it's about something which is not even there, right? So the creation part cannot be very data centric. It is more imagination centric, it's intuiting centric. So when you try and teach something to a student, right, we should try and say that, oh, I have a concept and I'm going to focus on the remembering part of the concept, understanding part of the concept, uh, application part of the concept, analysis part of the concept, evaluation, and literally create. So this you go from top to bottom. As you go from top to bottom, this is you're making it in depth. Sometimes we just say, okay, this is enough, and then we go to the next concept, and you see what's happening if they're trying to overteach. Oh, this is enough. So the student will keep learning at their own, and then we go to the next, and we ignore it, right? Now, if we try and include these as part of our curriculum, then what happens is it also requires a lot of time, right? And maybe you will cover very less number of topics. Maybe you'll cover very few topics. And for example, when I normally teach, and especially when I was teaching earlier, I would try and give them as much of information, trying to show off my knowledge, all that. And it's coming from somewhere deeper down that probably I'm not so good, or teaching to smart MBA students when I had just done my PhD. So I was in a way competing with the students and trying to give them more and more information. But if you sort of follow Bloom's taxonomy, you're not trying to give a lot of information to students. You're simply trying to give them little information, but asking them to go deeper into the Bloom's taxonomy, and saying from remember to understand to apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. When this cycle is complete, then you are quite sure that the concept has been, outcome has in a way occurred, right? All this, right? That's one outcome, right? So you can sort of design your course or design entire maybe program using outcome-based learning based on Bloom's taxonomy. Things to avoid when you're trying to apply Bloom's taxonomy to the class, right? Don't overburden students, right? Even if you're taking a class, maybe 2 or 3 concepts should be good enough in a class, and maybe 10 concept or 15 concept in a course, right? Should be good enough. So these 2-3 concepts in a class, maybe you're going to repeat them. So repeatability is very important, and repeatability from a perspective of bringing from a different aspects. Students doing something, or next they're trying to imagine something, next they're trying to analyze, evaluate, all those things. So which means you need to have multiple methods, or I was trying to emphasize earlier that multi-sensory approach towards learning is very important, right? Something is classroom, something cases, live projects, role play, behavior. We all know about these. So when you go for this kind of approach, your approach becomes, you should not, as I mentioned, just try and do many things, and so go 1 mile wide and few inches deep, but otherwise we should try and go 2 inches wide and 1 mile deep. Of course, sometimes the concepts are much more complex. For example, I teach a subject called strategy, and our strategic management is a subject which involves multiple types of learning, multiple subjects, very practical oriented. There's no right answer. So it becomes very challenging to sort of apply this concept for complex, or let's say you're teaching new product development, right? Or so if you're a doctor, you're teaching surgery, right? So which includes having a lot of knowledge. Not only just you need to have knowledge of the body, you also need to have knowledge of the instruments, right? And so on and so forth. So single type of pedagogy will not help if you're more of a outcome focused learning, right? Because students going to learn from multiple places, from various types, and hence these things should be avoided. make sure that feedback is uh, is regular, right? So one of the most critical aspect of outcome-based learning is give continuous feedback to the student, and so that they know what is their progress. Of course, don't rely only on one component, but rely more on multiple components of evaluation. So you're going to have maybe uh, quizzes, you're going to have midterm examination, you're going to have project-based learning. So have these multiple components so that students are able to demonstrate, and it's very taxing to sort of include outcome-based learning into your curriculum and sort of use Bloom's taxonomy there. All right, so I was thinking that this also makes it very sort of taxing for me to speak, and you also to listen to just what I'm speaking. So I thought we will do some bit of practical stuff here. So, I mean, why don't you sort of take one concept and from the respective area, whichever whatever subject you teach, and convert that concept into the Bloom's taxonomy, right? Let's say convert that. What would you remember of that concept? What would be the understanding of that concept? What will be the application of that concept? How will you do it? How will you analyze it? How will you evaluate it? How will you help student to evaluate the concept? And how will you go towards the creation, right? So if all of you are able to sort of do that, then it means whatever I've spoken about has sort of made some meaning, maybe. And if you're facing some problems, do let me know. Maybe I could probably help you sort of understand what is meant by remember or understand or apply, analyze, and so on and so forth. So you need to convert all the concept that you are building into one remember, which is very simple for all of us to do. Understand, right? What would the understanding of that concept? And then you'll say, okay, how will you make students apply the concept? And it can come from various places, right? It need not come from in the classroom itself, because I mentioned there are different ways through which student can learn. And you can also say that, okay, how are students going to analyze? What aspects will you introduce? How will you say that, oh, analysis has been done by the student? Evaluate then, and then create. So I thought, why don't you guys, sort of take a concept from your classes, whatever subject you teach, and we sort of do this exercise and then see whether is it making sense for us or not. So are we good to go? Can we sort of do that exercise quickly? Is it possible for you to get into groups of 2, 3, and we do it for 10-15 minutes, and then what I'll do is I'll take up question and answer, and also if you're facing any problems, I'll like to handle that. Does it make sense?
Wait. Sir, yes, sir,
Yeah.
Dr. Natika, yeah. The groups may not be possible because we
Okay.
have not made them into groups. So they can individually, they can give their comments and their thoughts on this
Okay.
exercise.
So it makes sense then. Then what we can do is individually you can think of maybe think for 10-15 minutes, right? And pick up concept from your class, discuss that, how will you include all these 6 elements? What are the 6 elements? Remember, understand, right? I'm just not writing it completely, right? Or maybe we can go back, or you can Google Bloom's taxonomy. It will be available to you. So remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create, and you measure each of them. And when you measure each of them, from different sources. As I told you, the sources may not be only the classroom, it can come from elsewhere, and then you are probably good to go with your outcome-based learning. All right, so let's take around 15 minutes time, and then we'll come back. Is that fine?
Yes, participants, you can give your thoughts on it. 15 minutes time, sir, is giving you all to do this exercise, and maybe 10-15 minutes you all can take, and then you can raise your hand, and we will ask the participant to unmute themselves and give their thoughts on it.
Yes, so that would be
Yes,
good.
sir. Yes. Okay, sir. If anyone has any questions for sir right now also, they can ask questions to sir. If they are unable to do the exercise given by sir, or if any difficulty, they can even ask the questions. Yes, Swati ma'am, you have a question? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Sir, like I wanted to ask, in applying, it's just doing projects. If we are asking application-based questions in a question paper, that is also applying of the concept.
No, that is not a that is you are testing it. That is you are trying to evaluate the learning. In the what I want to emphasize in application is, does your course outline or does your classroom uh, does it include a component, or does it have a space where application of what is being taught is given due importance? You should have sort of ask student to apply things rather than moving straight away after saying, okay, do you remember and understand? Okay, so then we can go to the next topic. By application, what I mean to say is there should be a space in the classroom where application of the concept is done by the student at during the learning time, not just at the examination stage, because if you're only doing it at the examination stage, then you probably don't know whether student is able to apply it or not. But yeah, the application need not be only in the classroom. It can come from non-classroom activities, but you need to ensure that application has taken place of a concept. So that is what I would like to highlight here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Sean, sir.
Good morning, sir. Just to clarify, so what you're asking us to do right now is to list out the activities which are mapping with these levels, right? And not just
Yeah.
make questions as such. Okay.
No, yeah, absolutely. So I'm saying any concept you teach in the class, can you see what would you remember? How would you check the remember a part of the uh, uh, part of the concept? What is the understanding, and what is the app? What will be the application of that concept? How will you sort of do that? How would you sort of, you know, help student to appreciate the analysis? How would they analyze the concept? How would they evaluate? Are they built into your course outline? Are they built into your curriculum, right? Are they part of your classroom, not in the sense of what you teach, but in the sense also coming from outside? Because many times one student, one teacher that let me quote an example here. When we try to apply this in XLRI, one of the teachers said, I teach statistics, and you know application analysis evaluation is not important part of my job, right? For example, I'm teaching central tendency. Let's I'm talking about mean, mode, and median. How would you sort of analyze and evaluate mean, mode, and median, right? But then a lot of students said, there could be a lot of application of it in real sense. You can pick up examples and say, okay, what is how do you sort of uh, see the limit of median, or limit of average, or limit of mode, right? So sometimes we think that my concepts are not so much applicable, right? My concepts are not analyzable, but concept I'm teaching is not evaluatable in a real sense. And we don't emphasize on these aspects of what would it mean to apply, let's say, average. Let's say if 5 people are trying to cross river, or what would it mean to analyze, or what would it mean to evaluate, right? So unless the student is able to apply, analyze, evaluate, and create, the learning has not been completed. And this apply, analyze, evaluate, create can come from multiple sources. It need not be only on the lecture that we are developing, giving in the classroom. It can come from multiple multiple sources. I hope you are able to sort of appreciate it. Saying, are we going to the
Yes, sir.
classroom wherein a concept, we are basically focusing on remember and understand, and we haven't designed our classroom for application of that concept. We haven't designed our classroom for analysis of the concept. We haven't designed our classroom for evaluation of the concept. We haven't designed classroom for creation of that concept. And while ma'am was trying to ask question earlier, and then you take it to the examination as well. So in the examination, you can sort of check whether all these things have been done. So this will sort of change our curriculum from very road-based stuff to where learning and creativity and sort of doing things becomes more critical. So maybe you take one concept from whichever subject you are teaching and say that, if my concept, let's say I took a concept of maybe what I took a concept of area of circle or something. That's a very simple concept, and sort of apply what we remember part of area of circle, what will be understanding part of area of circle, what will application part of area of circle, what will the analysis part of area of circle, what is evaluation part of area of circle, what is the creation part of area of circle. Or let's say you're teaching personality, right? As if you're from psychology background, say, okay, you remember the definition of personality as given in certain books. What do you understand by personality? Maybe personality is way people present themselves uh, to the external world, right? Can you apply it, right? Can you analyze personality in the sense how the different components which go into make the personality, is that part of it? Can you evaluate personality? So what's the advantages of personality and disadvantages of personality, and it should come from within rather than just simply reading it from the book, and sort of create. Creation could be, okay, you want to look at personality not from, let's say, from one perspective, let's say a Jungian perspective, but you all have a new way of looking at personality. So then, all these, remember, understand, apply, analysis, evaluate, create, is for a single concept of personality or a new product development, right? So what is remember, understand, apply, or let's say strategy? Remember the definition of strategy from the textbook. You understand strategy, right? So what's your understanding of, can you express that in your own word? Can you look at different firms and say, oh, this is where this firm is trying to apply this strategy, right? That would be understanding part of the strategy. Application would be the student himself or herself applies strategy in some context. Analyze in the sense, okay, so you are trying to split strategy into multiple parts. Like, strategy has a goal, strategy has resources, strategy has a time element, and strategy has planning, right? So, so you see the strategy comes from, you understand what are the constituents, the parts of strategy which make it a whole. And then you also evaluate, okay, strategy is good, but strategy can also lead to many problems, right? Maybe the person becomes very instrumental focus. Is also want to focus on outcomes or goals, right? And creation could be, you are trying to figure out a new strategy, right? Okay, because you understood and analyzed and evaluated so much that now you can think of defining a new strategy. Yeah. So any concept that you are picking up to teach in a classroom, please split that concept into remember part, understand part, apply part, analyze part, evaluate part, and create part. Hope I'm clear about that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I have I'm just talking from my own perspective and what happened at our place. So though we broadly thought that all these things are important, when we started doing a little bit of introspection and we started analyzing the course outlines, and we started to look at what teachers do when they enter the class, we realized, okay, we were basically limited. We were basically limited to these two parts, right? Our classroom was designed for predominantly these two parts, right? Though as teacher, we all understood these are important. We're not saying the teacher did not understand these aspects in teaching. No, they all understood it, or rather say mostly most of them understood it. But when it comes to designing of the classroom, or and designing it to the outcomes, we realized that probably none of us were doing it. So we had to, the change is still underway and trying to make progress on it. But it's a very difficult way to sort of change, because we are also hardwired. We have certain example, we have certain method of teaching. We don't want to change that, right? So that's, but from a student perspective, and so probably in a 3 months course, when I was teaching earlier, I would teach maybe 100 or 150 odd concepts to the student. Right now, I'm okay with, because strategy is also a little complex topic, complex in the sense it derives from multiple disciplines, and that way is so complex. I'm very happy to sort of limit it to 2-3 concepts in 3 months' time, but make students go to remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create, all of that, rather than and just don't know why it go sort of deep. Yes. So I hope you're able to understand as to what you have to do for this small exercise. And in the summary, I just want to figure out whether you guys have caught as to what I'm trying to communicate here. And that's the reason I'm asking to do the small exercise.
Sir, there is a query raised by Dr. Karuna.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Dr.
Yes,
Karuna,
sir.
please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you that how do we differentiate between slow learners and advanced learners? Because that is one of the questions in one criteria where we have this NAC accreditation. So this is all fine. That is, we need to do the, I mean, leave out, remember, understanding to bare minimum of say 20 to 25% and more of the others. But what happens to these slow learners? How do we differentiate between slow and advanced learners?
So, Dr. Karuna, sorry, I don't have a ready-made answer to it in the sense. I don't have a perfect answer, but I have a thoughts. I have some thoughts on that question, right? One way is our definition of slow learner and the fast learner itself is a little flawed sometimes. I'm not saying yours is like that. I'm just saying in general, right?
So I also agree with the same, sir. But then this is a question that is put forth, and we are all, unable to give. I mean, it's very bad to discriminate. Someone is a fast learner, someone is a slow learner, but we just don't have any replies to such questions that are asked in these accreditation systems.
Right. So so the first answer is, of course, definitionally it may be flawed, and it's quite possible the student who's a slow learner is actually a fast learner, but the system is not in tune to pick up his way of learning. The learning style of the person is very different, right? So maybe the learning is knowledge that person has is embodied or tacit or gut based, right? Or maybe the person learns through kinesthetics or maybe through auditory, and the classroom is more of listening, so more of a visual or maybe read and write kind of classroom. So one way of answering this question is that is your classroom capturing these different types of knowledge and learning styles and so on and so forth, right? So that way we'll be able to handle the slow learner versus the fast learner. The second part of the answer could be that maybe if the difference between slow learner and the fast learner is not great, it's some difference. Probably it's good to emphasize more on the peer learning. Then we should encourage peer learning, and students should speak to each other, and sort of what happens is the over a period of time, maybe more than a year or 2 or 3 years or 5 years, the slow learner will gain immensely from the fast learner, though it also leads to a lot of pressure and tension on the slow learner. So that's the second part of the answer. The third part of the answer could be if the gap between the slow learner and the fast learner is very high, then it is always it's useful to split the slow learners and the fast learners into two types, and attune your uh, uh, pedagogy to take care of the slow learner and the fast learner. However, given that most of the colleges and the universities have some kind of entrance or some kind of screening, the difference in the slow learner and the fast learners, in my opinion, let's say if I look at my college or something, is actually based on the type of learning and the type of knowledge the person has, type of learning style person has, learning sources the person has. So if you're sort of able to build these learning sources, learning styles, types of knowledge into the coursework, I think you can take care of slow learner and the fast learner in a typical college like or university like setup. But if if somebody's some has congenital disorders or something, then it becomes very difficult, and you need a separate instruction for both of them. So that's my three levels of answer to this question, right? If it is just about NAC, I think you can give this reason that you have different types of learning knowledge, different types of learning style. We have different types of learning sources. We are trying sort of bring them into your classroom.
Can these be used for measuring? Measuring, as I do not know, maybe a test measuring how many are slow learners, how many are advanced learners. It really becomes difficult to measure percentage.
That you ought to do it yourself, in the sense you institute wise or the college level wide activity has to be taken care of. If you figure out whether who are the slow learners and the fast learners, or probably the best thing is there are a lot of inventories available which will help to understand whether students are what is their learning style, which is the sources they are more comfortable learning from, right? Or what kind of knowledge do they have, right? So somebody has knowledge but is not able to speak it very well, it's at a very precognitive level, right? So if you're able to sort of have a learning style based profile of the student when the student enter the college, right? Or kind of knowledge they are comfortable with, or let's say kind of peers they're comfortable with, or what have they done in life. So you can form them into different cohorts, right? And then these cohorts can sort of start learning, and the classroom is now sort of designed around these cohorts. So it will require a very different sort of change, and it requires a different sort of attitude for us to make sure that the slow learner and the fast learners are sort of integrated very well. So before you allow students to get in, understand their learning style, understand which sources they are more comfortable learning from, understand what kind of knowledge are they more comfortable with, and then put them into cohorts, design hostel, design classrooms in such a manner that these things are taken care of, and then start sort of uh, the other activities, then the bloom and so on and so forth. That makes sense. I hope that sort of answers the question as to how can you sort of do that. It has to be done at the beginning rather than towards the end. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, others, please. Anybody who's been able to do this job or no?
Just wrapping up, sir.
Yeah, great.
Sir,
I'm
one of
ready
the
with mine.
sir,
Okay,
one of
great.
the participant,
Yeah.
Dr. Priyanka, she has put in the chat for each of the levels what she has practiced for her subject. I'll just read out, sir. For
Yeah.
remembering, she's saying providing a list of marketing terms and ask students to write the definition. Example, define marketing, make segmentation, target market, and branding.
Right.
Then for understanding, present a marketing case study and ask students to summarize the key findings and insights. Example, read a case study about a successful marketing campaign for a new product. Summarize the target market, the marketing mix, and the result of the campaign. For applying, provide a scenario and ask students to identify the best marketing strategy to address it. Example, imagine you are a marketing manager for a new coffee shop in a busy area. This shop is struggling to attract customers. What marketing strategy would you use to increase foot traffic and sales? Some more are there. I read or
Also,
anything you.
that's good. Can you please continue with this? I like the example that she's quoted till remember, understand, and apply.
Apply.
But
Yes, yes. So for
then
analyzing, yeah, she's saying present a marketing campaign and ask students to analyze its effectiveness and potential improvements. Example is analyze a recent social media marketing campaign by a company of your choice. What worked well and what could have been improved and why. Then for evaluating, ask students to compare and contrast two different marketing campaigns and justify which is more effective. Example, compare and contrast the marketing campaigns of two competing fast food chains. Which one is more effective and why? And for creating, ask students to design a new marketing campaign for a product or service of their choice. Example, design a marketing campaign for a new line of eco friendly cleaning products. Include a target market, marketing mix, and key messaging. This is what Sashi has put.
So, absolutely, this is pretty good. So now you will also understand that if it has to be done for all six components, probably entire course will be done with only one concept, right? It becomes so deep if it has to be. Probably she need to look at the analyzed part a little more clearly. Other parts were very well captured by her. Yeah. Any other examples? Any other
Can
person
I
who will?
present mine?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. I'm Professor Farida from GNVS Institute of Management, and I'm in the finance faculty. I have taken the concept of funding of working capital gap by the banks.
Okay.
So if I'm a businessman and the student, for example, has to step into the shoes of a businessman, and the first step for that is remembering the working capital cycle. What is a working capital cycle? In other words, it is a cash to cash cycle wherein the business starts with cash, uses the cash to buy raw material. Raw material is processed and converted into finished goods. Finished goods are sold either on credit or cash. If they're sold on credit, the receivables come in. When you receive money against the receivables, again you go back to cash. So students have to remember that cycle. Thereafter, they have to understand each component of the working capital cycle, which I spoke about. They have to then apply this and try and work out the working capital gap that is there, that is current assets minus the current liabilities, and see how much of funding the company has to raise by way of bank borrowings or whatever. So the recommended method which has been taught to them and recommended by the regulators is Tandon committee method. In the analyze stage, at what stage is the working capital cycle money being blocked? Is it at the inventory stage? Is it at the debtors collection stage? Or is it at some other stage? Is there too much of inventory piling up or whatever? And how can that be improved? At the evaluation stage, the student has to try and work out the working capital gap or the funding requirement based on another method, say a method which is recommended by Chore committee, and compare that working with the end result of the working as per Tandon committee, which has been made by them. Compare the two and find out which of the two is giving a lower working capital gap, so that the bank borrowing for the business goes down to that extent. And in case of create, once they have this comparative picture, they should draw up a strategy to curtail the bank borrowings through other measures like reducing the inventory holding level, expediting the collections from their debtors, etc., etc.
Or they can create their own methods of
Yes.
working capital. So that, thank you so much for this. So which means whatever I was speaking about has been communicated. Anyone else would like to take it up? But
Sir
yeah.
Sean sir has put in the chat. Sean sir, would you like to say yourself, or you want me to read out,
Uh,
sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I can do your no issues. Thank you so much, ma'am.
So,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Go ahead.
So I've taken one concept itself, which is motivational theories. This is like the first chapter in organizational behavior. So the first activity that we will be doing is an MCQ based quiz, which will be done at regular intervals. So, for example, one question could be, which of the following motivational theories has power as a component? That will be the level one, which is remembering. Then you have a group discussion, which is a little later down the line when they have understood what the basic concepts of motivational theories are. So the discussion would be on a topic, for example, would be motivational theories are important for the retention of employees, or something like motivational theories can reduce moonlighting, which is relevant for today. Then again, going further, once they have actually understood how each and every aspect of motivation theory affects the entire organization as such, you could go into a role play, which would be an applying state. The topic could be how to motivate a demotivated employee or motivating a productive yet lazy employee. So that will get them to understand as to why is the employee demotivated, or they get into the entire nitty-gritty of it. Further down, once you go, you'll be going into a classroom debate, which would then get everyone involved in the mix. A topic could be Vroom's balance theory of motivation can ensure satisfaction of all employees. So this actually comes on to an HR interview question as well, as in, can you satisfy all employees? Which the answer to the question is obviously no. Uh, Going further down, you'll be having a presentation, which they would have to do a bit of research on their own on the topic of relevance of traditional motivation theories today. So they would have to research about how it was before and how it can be relevant today. And they would have to go through all the levels prior to understand whether they can actually apply, analyze, and evaluate these concepts. And then the final level could be a research-based project, which has actually been done by one of my students, designing a possible motivational theory for Gen Z and millennials using existing motivational theories. So then combining all the theories that we've learned so far, like basically Frankenstein monster it and then get one motivational theory which could be relevant for today's generation. That's your final level 6.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much for this again. I think I'm able to communicate what I intended to, because you have done this exercise very well. So the implication of this is, just think about it, how less you will cover, and in terms of number of topics, all right, and how deeper it's going to, the learning is going to become deeper, and sort of you're going to capture all these aspects separately, that, and this will fundamentally change the classroom, right? That's what we want our students to do, rather than a very road-based learning that we are talking about. So all right, so that's what the last part was. Many of the concepts, for example, working capital, you're talking about market strategy, you're talking about motivational theory. Especially a lot of these concepts are very complex in nature and sort of become difficult to sort of apply. And also, like, think about the sources, right? I would say teach less and assemble more, because as we move into a new world of chat GPT and all, uh, you know assembling becomes a lot more important, doing becomes a lot more important, rather than asking questions, simple question. Because if you ask question, chat GPT can simply answer those questions, and but if you ask them to do something in the class or demonstrate something, is it becomes very difficult for chat GPT to sort of do that, or for them to sort of take help of chat GPT. Yeah, so more complex concept, they also involved multiple subjects, and they also involved multiple courses. It need not be done at the level of course, but also should be done at the level of the program, and so on and so forth. So with this, I'll end my presentation. I hope we've been able to sort of communicate something which I intended to. Any other questions? I'm open to.
One of the participant, Dr. Shripad, he has posted his thoughts also. Let me read out, sir. For
Yeah.
remember, he has put remember causes for resistance, identify reasons for resistance to change, then understand types of influencing factor, classify these resistance reasons in social, psychological, economic reasons, and pedagogy. He has put his PPT and case study. Then apply understanding about resistance factor, discover ways to overcome these fear factors, skill acquisition, rewards, penalties, and for analyze how motivation is significant, relate which type of motivational factors would be helping, extrinsic and intrinsic, group via group discussion, this apply and analyze pedagogy tool he will be using, evaluate which motivational factors are effective, plan for a motivational strategy for skill acquisition, then create a model for smooth change, that is action from students required is develop a change management model that takes care of the resistance free change, that is role play by student groups for evaluate and create.
Yeah, thanks. I think we're getting most of us are getting to understand what's there. Please also uh, don't rely too much on only on speaking and articulation, but also give space to doing, demonstration. Those things are equally important, right? Otherwise, the first slide which I presented you, you have knowledge but you don't express. We leave them aside. So think of a very interesting pedagogical sources which can sort of use to extract that. So that's so. Dr. Karna, you also have raised a hand. You know, any question from you?
Actually, no, sir. I think didn't raise it down, perhaps.
Okay, sure.
Sorry for that. Thank you.
So that's it. So thank you all for
So
giving me
there
this.
is one more. Can you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
uh, uh, Professor Eric has posted, this is my concept on wage administration under human resources management. Remembering what are methods of calculating employee wage. For understanding, explain time and piece rate method. For application, use the time rate to determine employee wage if he works for 8 hours for 6 for 6 CDs per hour.
yeah. And the next level is analyze and
So that
uh,
he has not posted.
create, yeah, and create. So remember, here the important thing is learning ends only when kid is able to create. That's the ultimate test of learning. The test of learning is not whether kid is able to reproduce what is written in the book or what I told the kid. Is the student able to sort of create some? If student is able to create and doesn't reproduce what I'm doing, what I'm telling student, I think that is even better. We should not be in the control of the class all the time. In the control in the sense, try and control students by using our methods, right? So create is the ultimate test of learning, right? Thank you all. Yeah, apologies. I have to sort of leave now. I'm sort of traveling, so I have a car to catch up at 12:30. So I'll leave with these thoughts. I hope I just wanted you to be more of an interaction, but I was not very sure how it will happen because we are all teachers, so exchanging ideas is more important than just giving some gyan. Yeah. Thank you. I hope it was fruitful.
Yes, sir. Any other questions for sir as sir has to leave? Okay. Uh,
Thank you, then. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful and informative session. The exercise also could give us some insights of the different Bloom taxonomy levels which we can apply in our teaching learning process. And sir, thank you so much, sir. Even if you are traveling, you made a point that you are getting connected on time. And sir, we could see without any technical glitch, we could hear, we could see your PPTs, properly and without any issues, sir. And it shows the commitment level of such stalwarts professors like you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
One more thing which I sort of want to end with is we just started doing the exercise. Please keep doing it. This is the first step. And when you do it, think about it multiple times and think of other sources, other learning style which can be included. I think over a period of time, this could be a very powerful tool for us to, improve our learning in the classroom. Thank you all. I'll disconnect now. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manish sir.
Okay. We have posted the feedback in the chat box, as well as we have shared via mail as per the daily practice. I hope you received it. And just to repeat again, if any faculty member, any participant who are not able to go through the demo quiz and need to still get that confidence level of the software, the auto block proctor link, which is shared with you all in the quiz instruction mail, you can try that n number of times. So the link will be activated tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and will remain active till 14th of May, 12 o'clock in the night. Further, it will get deactivated and again activated on 20th May at 8 a.m. and will remain active till 21st of May, 12 o'clock. That will be the last chance for everyone to appear. So out of these 4 days, any one day can be picked up by the participant as per their convenience timing and to appear for the test. And as informed, it has 40 questions and 45 minutes time would be given to the each participants to appear for the test. When you log in, see to it at one go itself, you appear for that test. It will get or deactivated in the 45 minutes. And as I said, it is not a auto submission. So please keep a watch of the timing. Anyways, GAD TLC was kind enough to give the timing of 5 minutes extra to us. So now please don't wait till 45 minutes to submit your test. And we have shared with you all till yesterday evening all the resource material and recordings for to all the participants. I hope you all have received it. Same is uploaded in the folder as well. And same will be doing for today as well. Yes, any queries anyone has? Yes. And as I informed in the morning today, Monday morning, that is on 15th of May, we will be mailing at your registered email ID of the response of the participants till date which we have received for the submission of your test. Right? Because it may happen sometimes due to technical glitch, the test may not receive to us. So we will be sharing it on 15th May. Same, we will be sharing it on 22nd of May. So this will, we request everyone to keep checking their mails till the last date, that is 21st of May, and 22nd of May is the submission of your projects and assignments. So please keep the track of the mails so that you are alert about the submission of your quiz, your assignments and projects. For assignments and project, we will be in position to send on 23rd of May. For quiz, we will be sending on 15th of May as well as on 22nd of May. For the responses which we have received. Any queries? Anyone has? Yes?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just wanted to ask you like the e-certificates will be generated, right? Once the
Ma'am, it will be shared with the organizers, that is GAD TLC. Yes, e-certificate only, but they will be evaluating it, your projects, your assignments, and the marks of your quiz will get added, and they will be mailing it to you. Yeah, they will be the authority to give the certificate with the grade. If they want us to mail you all, we will do that, or they will directly mail you all. Either of the one thing.
okay, and we said
Yeah.
there won't be no, like no hard copy or physical copy won't be.
No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You can take the color printout of the same, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much.
My pleasure, ma'am. Any other queries? As we also requested, at 3 p.m. today, we have validatory session. So few of the participants can volunteer themselves to give the reflections. Not many, as already Professor Farida has volunteered, and even like 2, 3 faculty members have volunteered. So already we have, 3 to 4 faculty members who have volunteered to give the reflections at 3 p.m. today in validatory session. Like 1 or 2, if we can have more, not more than 5, we are expecting to give the reflections. So 1 or 2 may also can volunteer to give their, reflections on this 1 week journey of us on this FDP program. I guess with this note, we all can take a lunch break and get connected at 1 p.m. sharp for our post lunch session. Yes. Okay. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. Yeah. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
everyone. Yeah. My pleasure,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you so much.